All right, so we are going to be painting today the snowballs for our snowman that we're going to be making. And when we paint the snowballs, we're trying to make them look 3D, like a sphere. So that means we have to use more than one color. We actually need 3 colors. The first color is white, and this is where the light is shining on our snowman. And in our picture, it's going to be the moon shining on our snowman. So we're actually going to use white for our highlight. And then this middle color here is called the mid-tone. And so for the mid-tone, which basically means middle color, we're gonna be using this really light blue. And then for the shadow, the side that's farthest away from the light, we're gonna be using this slightly darker blue. Now when we get started with these, we're gonna paint from the shadow, we're gonna paint that first to the mid-tone color, and we're gonna end in the highlight color, the white. So when we get started, we're gonna have this paper, and the only thing you need to do with your pencil is write your name in the box. The snowballs are already here for you, and they have lines in them to show where you're putting each color. Now, be really careful when you paint the outside edge. We don't wanna make our snowball the wrong size, because right now we have a small, a medium, and a large snowball. But if I paint this one too big, I won't know which one's supposed to be my large anymore. So we have to be real careful when we trace the edges. Now, getting ready to paint, you're gonna get your brush. You're also gonna need a paper towel to clean your brush because we are not using water. So when we get started, we're gonna start with the outside edge, the shadow color first. So we're gonna use the darkest blue and really just take a small dip. We don't wanna stir the paint. We don't wanna scoop the paint. We don't want any paint to get onto the metal part of the brush, just the bristles. So we're gonna real carefully and slowly outline our edge first. So I'm doing the larger one first. You can pick which one you start. You're gonna do the same thing for all 3 of these. So I'm starting with the large one, and I'm going real slow. I'm trying not to press the brush too hard. If I press the brush too hard, it makes the brush really big, and then it's hard to stay inside the lines. So that edge first, and then there's another edge right here where this color stops. So I'm gonna fill that in. And then that little bit of space in the middle also needs filled in. So that's first. Now, another reason why we don't want to get too much paint on our brush is it's a lot harder to clean it. If I only put a little bit on my brush, it's really easy to clean it. But if I have a lot on there, then it takes a long time to get it clean. So now I'm gonna go to the middle color, this mid-tone color right here, the very light blue in the middle. And I'm gonna add this until I get to the last circle, the highlight. So I'm painting around that because I don't wanna paint inside of that. That's where the white's gonna go. And then I'm gonna fill the rest of this in with this lighter blue. Now, one of the things that makes it look 3D is when the colors blend together, but only along the edge. So when we're blending, it means we're mixing the edges of these colors together. So I'm gonna start by getting my brush pretty clean. And then I'm gonna take my cleaner brush, and I am just gonna kind of run it along that edge. I'm trying to get that lighter blue to blend into the darker blue. So that way they have less of a line between them. I'm just kind of pushing that lighter blue into the darker blue. Okay, so now there isn't such an edge between those two. This will help make it look more 3D. All right, so I gotta get my brush really clean now because I'm gonna use white. So I'm wiping it as well as I can. I'm gonna take a dip of white and I'm gonna put it in the middle circle. And then it's the same thing. Once I fill that circle in, I'm gonna make the edges mix. So after I cover that up, then I'm gonna clean my brush a little bit so there's not too much in it. And I'm gonna just take those edges and just pushing them together. So I'm pushing that white out into the lightest blue so there isn't such a line between the two. So that makes it look more 3D, more like a sphere of snow. So then I do the same thing to the next 2 snowballs. I do the dark blue on the edges, I do the lighter blue in the middle, and then the highlight, the white, goes in that circle. And just make sure to try to blend your edges to mix those colors together. When you're done, all 3 of your snowballs should be painted like this one here. So they should all have the shadow darker blue, the mid-tone lighter blue, and the white in the middle. And then we want to try and blend those edges together.